Today was my third day in Vilcabamba, Ecuador. I must admit I fell off the fruitarian wagon, but I already wrote about that on my fruitarian blog. If you're interested in non-diet related stories, I recommend you stick around. There is a lot I have to share. My morning was quite delightful. I woke up around 8 a.m. and did some meditation, qigong, and foundation training. After that, I answered some emails and called my mom to wish her a happy birthday. I didn't want to stay at home, so soon after I packed some water and a little bit of raw food to take on a walk to town. On my way there, I saw a sign pointing the way to a community called Chambalabamba, which was surprisingly close to the Airbnb I have been living in. I had already heard about this community online and I was curious to check it out, so I simply walked past the gate, which was open, and headed downhill so I could see what I could find out. At the bottom of the road, placed next to the river, was a lovely community full of fruit trees and amazing people I was soon to meet. My first interaction was with Nimai and Nati, two lovely beings who were preparing lunch for the community. They welcomed me and invited me to stay for lunch. They shared their stories, which included an upcoming trip on a boat through the Amazonian rivers. They planned to do this for 9 months while shooting a documentary that focuses on the pollution that is happening in the Amazonian jungle. From there, I headed to Work Zone, where I met half a dozen adults who were building a house with mud and adobe. I was surprised to see that at least half of the people there were Argentinian born like me. One of the men there was actually born and raised in my hometown, a small place in Patagonia called Bariloche. I was quite shocked to find out. I helped with the construction for an hour and then joined the community for lunch. The food was delicious, and even though it was far from what my fruitarian diet recommends, I still enjoyed it very much. After eating, Nimai gave me a tour of the community grounds. The land is about 3 or 4 acres wide. There were plenty of residential and communal buildings and lots of fruit trees. There was one particular structure that was quite impressive. It was built using living trees as a base, and it had a suspension bridge connecting the bathroom nearby, which was also on top of trees. The views were outstanding, to say the least. I would have loved to live there. After a tour, I spent time with Nimai playing on a slackline. I noticed my improvements since last time I had given it a try. I got to also meet other members of the community and talk about the community volunteer program, which includes 4 hours of work 5 days a week and a $20 a week expenditure to cover for food. I thought about staying there, but the commitment is too much for now. I don't want to be attached to a single place for that long. I prefer to keep my trip with flexibility. There's also the option to stay in a room in a beautiful structure on top of the land. The house is big enough for 9 people, but it is currently empty. For $15 a night, I can have it all for myself. I would love to do that, but there is another option which seems best. That would be to do a work exchange at a retreat center nearby where I can teach yoga in an exchange for the place to stay. I took a quick look at the website for this resort and it looks like a great place to be. I'm going to learn more and give it a try. If it doesn't work, I can always look for other places to stay. During lunch, one of the Argentinians from Chambalabamba mentioned that he would be DJing at a small disco downtown. I was curious to check it out, so I went back home, took a shower, ate some tomatoes, and headed down hills to visit downtown for the first time. As I passed by the entrance of Chambalabamba, I crossed paths with friends who were on their way to cook some San Pedro for a ceremony. I found it quite confidential that we had crossed paths once again. I almost asked for an invitation to the San Pedro ceremony, but I chose to let go of it instead. Maybe I'm not ready, or maybe I don't need it. After parting ways with my friends, I walked another 100 yards and met a couple. They were from Chile. They were friendly, so I sat with them and talked for a while. The man, Claudio, asked what I do for a living, and I told him that I do bodywork and teach yoga classes. He was happy to hear this. He is looking for someone to teach yoga classes at the Elder Community Center in Vilcabamba, where the oldest residents in town gather to socialize. He asked if I wanted to do some community service, and I said yes. In fact, this was one of my plans when I decided to make this trip. This is quite exciting. After all, the elders of town are the people who made Vilcabamba famous. They say this is a special place where people live to a long age. I would doubt to though consider how much I will doubt so though considering how people live and eat here. Not very healthy. Eventually I made it to town. I was there by 8 or 9 p.m. I was tired, but the center was quite alive. I walked around for an hour, went to my friend's DJ performance, and then I walked all the way back to my house. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.